Alright guys, we're back with another Goji reviews video, and this is probably going to be the last transforming figure for this year. The other videos I'm going to do are not going to be able to do transform like that. But yeah, Megatron's the last one. What a way to end it, right? Let's take a look at the box. I say let's take a look at the box, but there's nothing much. It's G1 Megatron, tank mode, screenshot from the movie, Megatron, tank mode, sword he's holding. I have a complaint with the sword and the fusion cannon, but we'll get to that. Gun looks sick. That's another Megatron arm. And now we're gonna start in bot mode. That's what it came packaged in anyways. Alright. So for this Megatron, well, it's the G1 Megatron. As best as Hasbro could get it officially. Without it transforming into a gun, because toy laws be like that. I know people right away, we're going to complain about the legs. I don't mind it too much personally, and of a lot of like screenshots, a lot of pictures online I kind of see something leaning towards this, if not a bit darker. Just to kind of blend in with everything. But if you're wondering if this bit of blue here bothers me, no, it doesn't bother me all that much. I'll tell you two things that bother me not over here, but we'll start with this one. This one I think is more egregious in the fusion cannon, just because of the fact that you can't pull this apart. Now, why would that be an issue? What they want you to do is just open the hand. They just want you to open the hand, and quite simply, and in a way, in a fashion that's probably gonna break a figure. Let me just do it like that. They just want you to shove it. To me, that's not good weapon design. That's not good accessory design at all, because you risk ruining the circle portion of the hand that allows it to hold other stuff. You ruin that. And yeah, another, like, it's not as egregious, but it's just like a complaint. The shaping and everything is correct, but this is out too long. Give half of this length to over here, if not a little bit less, maybe like just under half of the length of this dead space right here. Give it to the barrel, and bam, it would look a lot better. Maybe make this shroud a little larger as well. But definitely the length here is too lopsided to the back. That's the complaint. Another complaint that some people would point out is the blast effect compatibility, and that it's kind of limited. Let me show that right now. People would want to use these ones because that's what we use in the movie. You can't use it fully. Doesn't even work there. You have to use the small tip one. It'll fit in nearly perfectly just like that. That's how it looks. And while we're here, let me try this actually. Can this one work? Oh, well, that one sort of works too. Although it doesn't really fit in tightly. Of course, the tiny ones that exist also fit really well, but I'm not gonna bother pulling those out. And I will say that is not the only accessory he comes with. He comes with a smaller version of his gun mode. They were able to reference it at least, but they can't make it into a full-on figure. So they make it to where he can be held by other characters. And just to kind of show that, put Megatron back here for now. Let's put a fusion cannon back too while we're at it. Another character that can hold it properly, well, two. You can have either one of them do it. Soundwave and Starscream. For the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna actually have Starscream do it because he wielded Megatron in the movie. I believe it was the left hand too. Just so you can kind of recreate that moment where he's just like using Megatron to fire away at the Autobots whenever they ambush that ship they're on. I don't think it's the Ark they're on, but they're gonna ambush that ship. All right. And I guess while we're here, we'll do some size comparisons with, I don't have a shockwave, so this is the most I have for like the main henchman of Megatron. That's all I'm going to work with. And then, of course, we have to. The best G1 Optimus Prime in Mainline, now with the best G1 Megatron in Mainline. Are either of them perfect? Not really. Because there's no such thing as perfection. You know, people are gonna complain about this. It's like, okay, we get it. Head is not fully like G1 cartoon accurate or whatnot. Megatron. So I'm not complaining about Megatron's head being too squarish. I don't see that personally, but I can see them complaining about this one, which doesn't bother me, and they're complaining about the future cannon, which does bother me, not as much as the sword. Sword is accurate though. Sword is absolutely accurate. And I guess while we're here, let us just put on the blast effects on what we can for now. We have the actual fusion cannon itself, and with the remaining bits, let me get Starscream again. Let me just like that. Put them like that for now. We could take Starscream here and plug it onto the actual gun mode, and yeah, that works. Without further ado, though, no more dilly-dallying, no more delays. Let's show accessory storage really quick. And then gives me an excuse to take this off his hand, because I don't like the fact that you just clip it onto there. It feels rough. You got two slots here. Another peg. The other peg's being taken by this one. What am I saying, another peg? Another peg hole. There's one here, but that's being taken up by this barrel. This barrel can indeed just come off. Like that. They do that whenever they store the figure. You can do it like that. What you can do is you can stick the sword any way you like. I'm just going to do it like this for the sake of convenience. There's a tab on the gun mode. You put in that slot. There you go. I'll move this down because someone's going to be angry in the comments. And there you go. You can store everything on Megatron. Cool. Let me just take these off for now. Let's talk about articulation. Paint, I'm not going to really go over too much because it's just simple. Paint, who cares? Articulation. Head is on a ball joint. 360. It's pretty nice. You have a bit of a butterfly joint considering how things work with transformation. You have arm rotation, 360. Shoulders go out that far. You have bicep rotation. You have elbow bend above 90. You've got ball jointed hands. They could go 360. And like Prime, Megatron has individual fingers, so you could do an evil point or whatever you want to do. While we're here, waist. There's like a slight click to it, but it goes full 360. Legs are not like Prime's. They're actually part of the leg. You kick that far, back that far. If you really want to move this to the side, I think you move that for transformation. I forget. You kick it that far. With this in here, lift it up. Still kicks pretty far, but if you want to move this, it kicks farther slightly. You can move that. Knees bend over 90, and you have ankle tiltage. Yeah. I'm going to straighten everything out for now because we're going to get into transformation. Let's go. Megatron in his tank mode, which I've seen the argument is just a gun on wheels, and like that's a good way to describe it. It is just a gun on wheels. You can already see that via English, via 5mm ports and pegs. You can put the sword on either side, depending you're choosing. Same thing with the gun. Personally, I kind of like the look of the gun and the tank barrel. However, what I'm not a big fan of, besides this not being... There you go. That's just like, okay, nah. This already looks good, though. And because it's on those rollers right here and right here, you get a set of 3, and he rolls pretty snazzy. I like it. And now, with the barrel in mind, what we can do is, with some minor manipulation of the tank, you can have it aim up a little bit, and then just plug it in like so. Yeah, turret has some good articulation, if you want to mess around with that. But yeah, you can have it take that, or what I think is really funny, the big blast from Star Optimus or Star Convoy is back. That's an accurate Megatron blast. Of course, with the turret, it can rotate, do all that fun jazz. You can turn it around, blast the keyboard if I wanted to destroy something. Yeah, the big blast attack does work with this, so that's nice. All boss effects work. Of course, the gun can also... Can it? Actually, oh no, it can't. I'm dumb, but you can still use this one. There we go. That's appropriate. Yeah. All right, for alt mode size comparisons, I'm just gonna keep it pretty simple. I'm not transforming any of the other tanks. Well, I could grab one really quick for funnies, but for now, Cybertron Starscream looks really sick, and personally my favorite Starscream. And then we've got the one whose name I keep forgetting, but would have been a really cool jet mode for Megatron to take. But yeah, we got one more. We got one more tank. Didn't expect him to return, huh? But yeah, I like this tank mode slightly better, but that's a really good tank mode too. Just this one looks a lot more threatening, you know what I mean? Alrighty. Alright, this is getting thrown in here because it'd be hilarious, in my opinion. Does it fit? It does. Boosh! Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. Alright, and we're back to the beginning. How do I feel about this figure, especially considering this is my last review of 2025? Well, last Transformers review that can transform. Last transforming figure review of 2025. This is a banger to end off on. It's not a gun mode, but it is a gun on wheels. That's what I will say about that. And it's a really fun figure to pose and mess around. What I don't speak of enough is the whole transformation process. Like, I used to instruct it and go through details, how the steps and all that, and I kind of stopped because I got tiring for me. But something that I don't personally talk about enough is like, oh, how does it feel to really kind of transform it back and forth? And this guy is a blast. It looks like a chore on camera, but you gotta keep in mind, the way this review is being filmed is from like a first-person perspective. It's like the camera is your eyes, pretty much. And so trying to do it with me behind the camera is gonna be very difficult and very much a chore to do. If I take this guy off camera now, stop making the video, I could just transform him back and forth at least 5 to 7 times, and I'd be happy. Yeah, it's only a chore if I'm behind the camera. But other than that, I'm not gonna really dock that against it, because that's just a thing with being on camera. This figure was a long time coming, because I remember seeing leaks about it way back when, though I never really like paid much attention to it. And I think it was after I got the Studio Series Optimus Prime this guy. After I got him, it's like, now I kind of need a Megatron to go with it. And I need a better one rather than Earthrise or Siege. And this guy absolutely fits the bill. I'm going to steal a quote from a certain YouTuber. You can guess who, but if this was the standard for primes going forward, this is the standard for Megatrons, at least of the G1 variants. These two set a new bar. They set a new standard with how good they are. Minor nitpicks here and there. Could have been given a better fusion cannon. Could have been given a better head sculpt. Backpack could have been solved. Pain to the legs, whatever. Without considering those nitpicks for what they are, and going back to Megatron as a focus, because I think I might have said something similar, but what I'm about to say also applies for Prime. This figure is worth it. If you can find it, he's been hard to find for me at least, but if you can land him for a good deal, for a good sale, get him. You will not be disappointed with this figure. Absolutely not. You won't be disappointed. I can certainly say that with... Well, how am I gonna phrase this? I can say that with certainty that you at the very least won't be disappointed. You won't be bored of this figure. And yeah, honestly, it's kind of a way to end off the like transforming figure review like arc of this year. And I'm glad to have ended it off with this figure, because I was considering getting another one or ending it with Jetfire, but I think I made the right call in trying to land this guy first and going at it. I don't regret that. Now, one little teaser. Here's the teasers in question. You might have seen these two on my Instagram at some point. From 2011 to 2025, what's the difference between the molds? I know they're like sister molds or very similar molds, but quality is a big thing, because SH Monster Arts, especially as of the Monster Arts figures, is sorted with some of the Toho ones. There's been a little thing that, oh, there's a huge dip in quality, and that's why Higher Toys is a thing. Next week's video is going to kind of cover that, with two similar molds. The first edition Heisei Godzilla, and then comparing that to the 70th anniversary Burning Godzilla. That's the teaser. If you like the video on Megatron, like, comment, subscribe, the usual YouTuber jargon, whatever. If you like this figure, if you like how I reviewed, if you like what I do, let me know. Just let me know. Comments down below. You can interact with me on social media or catch me whenever I do end up streaming. But yeah, anyways, as for this guy, review is done. He's a solid 8 out of 10 at the bare minimum. Would I rank him any higher? Maybe a 9. These two are the next videos, and I hope y'all are excited for that. It's a double review, so it's a singular video. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Take care.